In 1993, three engineers met at a Denny's restaurant in San Jose. They had $40,000 and an idea everyone said was stupid: graphics chips for video games. Today, that Denny's meeting is worth $3.5 trillion. NVIDIA isn't just the most valuable chip company on Earth. It's worth more than the entire GDP of China, the world's second-largest economy. One company, making chips, worth more than 1.4 billion people's annual output. And here's the insane part: they did it by accident. NVIDIA didn't plan to power AI. They were trying to make games look prettier. Instead, they accidentally built the infrastructure for the next phase of human civilization. Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO, still wears the same leather jacket he wore in 1993. It's not humility, it's branding. Every appearance, every keynote, same jacket. The message: consistency, reliability, inevitability. While Intel CEOs rotate every few years and AMD struggles for relevance, Jensen has been CEO for 31 years. He's seen every competitor rise and fall. He's survived every tech bubble. And now, at 61, he's presiding over the greatest wealth creation in corporate history. NVIDIA's stock has risen 250% in the last year alone. That's $2 trillion in value created, more than the entire tech bubble of 2000. Let's talk about the monopoly nobody wants to admit exists. NVIDIA controls 92% of the AI chip market, not 60%, not 75%, 92%. Every ChatGPT query, every Mid-Journey image, every autonomous vehicle calculation, they almost all run on NVIDIA chips. The H100, their flagship AI chip, costs $40,000. Companies are buying them by the thousands. Microsoft ordered 150,000, Meta bought 350,000. That's $14 billion in chips to one customer. These aren't computers. They're just chips, components, parts. And companies are spending more on them than some countries spend on defense. The waitlist for H100 chips is currently 52 weeks. 1 year to get a chip. Companies are bidding against each other, offering premiums, making side deals. Some are buying startups just to acquire their NVIDIA chip allocations. Oracle allegedly paid 10 times markup to jump the queue. Saudi Arabia created a $40 billion fund specifically to buy NVIDIA chips. It's not supply and demand anymore. It's desperation and monopoly. NVIDIA could double prices tomorrow, and companies would still buy. They have no choice. Without NVIDIA chips, you can't compete in AI. And without AI, you can't compete at all. But here's what's really happening. NVIDIA isn't selling chips. They're selling the future. Every company CEO has the same nightmare. Their competitor gets AI first and destroys them. Blockbuster ignored streaming. Kodak ignored digital. Nobody wants to be the next casualty, so they're paying NVIDIA whatever it takes to avoid obsolescence. Fear is the ultimate pricing power, and Jensen Huang is the world's greatest fear merchant. The numbers are staggering. NVIDIA's revenue in 2024, $96 billion. Profit, $53 billion. That's a 55% profit margin. For context, Apple's margin is 25%. Google's is 27%. NVIDIA is literally twice as profitable as the most profitable companies in history. But it gets crazier. Their data center revenue grew 427% year over year. Not a typo. 427% in 1 year. That's not growth. That's explosion. The CUDA moat is the real genius. CUDA is NVIDIA's programming platform for their chips. It took 17 years and $10 billion to develop. Every AI researcher learned CUDA in graduate school. Every AI framework is optimized for CUDA. Every AI model is trained on CUDA. It's like Microsoft Windows for AI. Competitors like AMD have chips that are technically comparable, sometimes even better. Doesn't matter, they don't have CUDA. Switching from NVIDIA to AMD is like asking the entire world to switch from English to Esperanto. Technically possible, practically impossible. Taiwan is the elephant in the room. NVIDIA doesn't actually make chips. TSMC in Taiwan does. Every single high-end NVIDIA chip comes from TSMC's factories. If China invades Taiwan, NVIDIA dies instantly. No gradual decline, no pivot, just death. The entire AI revolution depends on factories within missile range of China. The US government knows this. That's why they're spending $280 billion to build chip factories in America. But here's the problem. TSMC is 10 years ahead of everyone. Intel can't catch up. Samsung can't catch up. The US fabs won't catch up. NVIDIA's entire $3.5 trillion valuation rests on Taiwan remaining independent. It's the greatest geopolitical risk in corporate history. The energy consumption is obscene. A single H100 chip consumes 700 watts. A data center with 10,000 H100s, which is becoming standard, consumes 7 megawatts continuously. That's enough to power 5,000 homes. Microsoft's AI data centers will soon consume more electricity than entire countries. Training GPT-4 used 50 gigawatt hours. That's $5 million in electricity for one model. GPT-5 will use 10 times more. GPT-6, 100 times. We're building a machine that might consume all available energy, and NVIDIA profits from every watt. The insider selling tells the real story. Jensen Huang has sold $1.8 billion in stock in the last year. Other executives have sold $500 million. Board members, another $300 million. They're cashing out at the top. When insiders sell billions while telling the public to buy, something's wrong. But the cult of NVIDIA is so strong that nobody cares. Every sale is explained away. Diversification, tax planning, estate planning. Nobody wants to admit the obvious. They know something we don't. The competition is coming, but it might not matter. Google's TPUS, Amazon's Trainium, Apple's M series, Tesla's Dojo, everyone's building AI chips. But they're all building them for themselves. Only NVIDIA sells to everyone. It's the arms dealer in an AI arms race. Both sides buy from NVIDIA. Everyone buys from NVIDIA. The competitors aren't trying to beat NVIDIA. They're trying to reduce dependence on NVIDIA. There's a difference. One is victory, the other is survival. The ChatGPT moment changed everything. November 30th, 2022. OpenAI releases ChatGPT. Within 5 days, 1 million users. Within 2 months, 100 million. The fastest growing application in history. And every single query, every single response runs on NVIDIA chips. OpenAI's compute costs hit $700,000 per day. That's $250 million annually, just for compute. Not salaries, not rent, not marketing. Just NVIDIA chips eating electricity. And OpenAI is just one customer. Anthropic, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon. They're all burning billions on NVIDIA hardware, racing to build God in a box. The cryptocurrency pivot that saved everything needs examination. In 2018, NVIDIA was a gaming company. Gamers bought GPUs to play Fortnite. Then crypto happened. Suddenly, those same GPUs could mine Ethereum. NVIDIA stock exploded. Then crypto crashed in 2021. Everyone predicted NVIDIA's doom. The stock fell 66%. Jensen Huang didn't panic. He knew something others didn't. The same chips mining fake internet money could power AI. The architecture designed for rendering pixels was perfect for matrix multiplication. Pure accident, Pure genius. The crypto bros unknowingly funded the AI revolution. Let's discuss the China situation because it's absolutely insane. The US government banned NVIDIA from selling high-end chips to China. National security, they said. So NVIDIA created special China-compliant chips, the H800 and A800. Same architecture, slightly slower, technically legal. China bought $5 billion worth. Then the US banned those too. So NVIDIA created even slower chips. China's still buying. It's theater. Everyone knows China's getting NVIDIA chips through third countries. Singapore's imports of H100s increased 500%. UAE's increased 1,000%. Those chips aren't staying in Singapore. The black market price in China, $70,000 per H100. Almost double retail. NVIDIA publicly complies with sanctions while privately benefiting from black market premiums. The software monopoly is even stronger than hardware. NVIDIA's strategy: give away software to lock in hardware. CUDA is free. QDNN is free. TensorRT is free. Every AI tool NVIDIA makes is free. Why? Because they only work on NVIDIA hardware. It's the razor and blade model perfected. Give away the razor, sell blades forever. Except the blades cost $40,000 and you need thousands of them. Every AI developer becomes an unpaid NVIDIA salesperson. They demand NVIDIA chips because that's what they know. The prison is so comfortable that nobody wants to leave. The Omniverse platform is the next trap. NVIDIA is building a metaverse for AI, a simulation platform where companies can train robots, design products, simulate factories. BMW uses it to design cars. Amazon uses it for warehouse robots. It's sold as innovation. It's actually lock-in. Once your entire design process runs on Omniverse, you can't leave. Your data is trapped. Your workflows are trapped. Your employees are trapped. NVIDIA becomes your permanent technology partner. The subscription fees are just the beginning. The real money is in the compute you'll need forever. Jensen Huang's cult of personality deserves study. He's not just a CEO, he's a prophet. His keynotes aren't presentations. They're sermons. He doesn't announce products. He reveals destiny. The more you buy, the more you save, he actually said about $40,000 chips. And people applauded. He could price H100s at $100,000 tomorrow, and companies would thank him for the opportunity. The leather jacket isn't fashion. It's religious garb. The CEO as techno shaman, promising digital transcendence through expensive silicon. The accounting deserves scrutiny. NVIDIA counts revenue when chips ship, not when they're used. They're shipping billions in chips to companies that haven't figured out how to use them. Meta bought $14 billion in chips. For what? The metaverse is dead. Their AI products are free. How do they monetize $14 billion in chips? They don't. They're buying insurance against irrelevance. NVIDIA is selling fear, booking it as revenue, and nobody's asking about actual utilization. It's the WeWork model. Massive spending on uncertain returns, but this time with chips instead of desks. The environmental impact is catastrophic, but hidden. Every AI query uses 10 times the energy of a Google search. GPT-4 consumed enough electricity to power 1,000 homes for a year just in training. The cooling systems for NVIDIA data centers use millions of gallons of water daily. In drought-stricken areas, data centers get water priority over agriculture. We're literally choosing chatbots over crops. NVIDIA's response? They're making chips more efficient. But Jevons paradox applies. More efficient chips just mean more chips deployed. The total energy consumption only increases. The national security angle is fascinating. The US government treats NVIDIA like a weapons manufacturer. Export controls, security clearances, classified briefings, because AI superiority might determine military superiority. The country with the best AI might have unbeatable military advantage, and NVIDIA controls the means of AI production. They're not just selling chips, they're selling national power. That's why the US is desperate to keep NVIDIA's most advanced chips away from China. It's not commerce, it's warfare. The acquisition strategy reveals the master plan. NVIDIA tried to buy ARM for $66 billion. ARM designs chips in every smartphone. The deal would have given NVIDIA control over all computing. Phones, servers, PCs, everything. Regulators killed it, saving us from total NVIDIA domination. But they're not giving up. They're acquiring smaller companies weekly. Mellanox for networking, Bright Computing for cluster management. Each acquisition adds another lock to the prison. Soon, you won't be able to build AI infrastructure without touching NVIDIA property. The startup ecosystem is completely captured. Every AI startup needs NVIDIA chips to compete, but startups can't afford them and can't get allocations. So NVIDIA created a program. They'll provide chips in exchange for equity. Hundreds of startups have taken the deal. NVIDIA now owns pieces of its entire customer base. When these startups succeed, NVIDIA profits. When they fail, NVIDIA gets the chips back. It's the most one-sided deal in Silicon Valley. But startups have no choice. No NVIDIA chips, no funding, no future. The path to $10 trillion isn't speculation. It's math. NVIDIA at $3.5 trillion today, growing at 100% annually. By 2027, they'll hit $10 trillion. That's twice the current value of the entire NASDAQ. One company. But here's why it might happen. AI isn't a bubble. It's infrastructure. Every company needs it like they need electricity. And NVIDIA owns the power plants. The question isn't whether NVIDIA reaches $10 trillion. It's whether the global economy can sustain a $10 trillion chip company. We're about to find out. The Blackwell architecture, NVIDIA's next generation, makes the H100 look primitive. The B200 chip has 208 billion transistors. The H100 has 80 billion. It's not an upgrade, it's a revolution. Performance increases 5 times. Price increases 2 times. Margin increases 150%. Every customer with H100s will need to upgrade or become obsolete. It's forced obsolescence at $40,000 per unit. Apple makes you upgrade your iPhone every 2 years. NVIDIA makes you upgrade your data center every 18 months. The entire $500 billion installed base of H100s will be electronic waste by 2026. The sovereign AI movement guarantees growth. Every country now wants AI sovereignty. Their own models, their own infrastructure, their own chips. France is spending 50 billion euros. Germany 30 billion euros. Japan 5 trillion yen. Saudi Arabia $40 billion. 100 billion UAE dollars. They're not buying from each other. They're all buying from NVIDIA. It's an arms race where everyone buys from the same arms dealer. NVIDIA is selling shovels to every side of the gold rush. And unlike gold rushes, this one never ends. AI models get bigger, need more compute, forever. Let's examine the actual customers because it's revealing. Microsoft, $15 billion in NVIDIA chips. Meta, $14 billion. Google, $10 billion. Amazon, $10 billion. Oracle, $8 billion. Tesla, $3 billion. These 6 companies alone have spent $60 billion on NVIDIA chips in 18 months. That's more than the entire global semiconductor equipment market. And they're just getting started. Microsoft says they'll spend $100 billion on data centers by 2027. If NVIDIA maintains its 40% share of data center costs, that's $40 billion from one customer. The hidden dependencies are terrifying. Modern society runs on AI now. Credit decisions, insurance pricing, medical diagnosis, legal research, hiring decisions, all AI, all NVIDIA. If NVIDIA's supply chain breaks, hospitals can't diagnose cancer, banks can't approve loans, courts can't process cases. We've built critical infrastructure on gaming chips made by one company in one country. It's the most concentrated technological risk in history. The 2008 financial crisis was too big to fail banks. This is too essential to fail chips. The price increases are just beginning. The H100 launched at $25,000. Now it's $40,000. The B200 will launch at $70,000. NVIDIA's justification? The new chip replaces multiple old chips. Total cost goes down. It's a lie everyone pretends to believe. Real costs are exploding. OpenAI spent $100 million training GPT-4. They'll spend $1 billion on GPT-5, $10 billion on GPT-6 GPT-6. The math leads to one conclusion. Only trillion-dollar companies will be able to afford AI. Everyone else will rent it, from companies using NVIDIA chips. The financial engineering is beautiful. NVIDIA doesn't just sell chips. They sell them on payment plans, lease them through partners, bundle them with software subscriptions. They're creating NVIDIA as a service. Why sell a chip once when you can rent it forever? The recurring revenue model applies to hardware now. Companies will pay NVIDIA monthly forever, like a utility bill. The market values recurring revenue at 10 times hardware sales. That's how NVIDIA gets to $10 trillion. The brain drain strategy is working. NVIDIA pays AI researchers $1 million base salaries, $5 million in stock. Top researchers make $20 million annually. They're buying every brilliant mind in AI. Google's AI team is hemorrhaging to NVIDIA. OpenAI's founders keep leaving for NVIDIA. Academic labs are emptying into NVIDIA. They're not just monopolizing chips, they're monopolizing intelligence. The next generation of AI breakthroughs will happen inside NVIDIA, for NVIDIA's benefit. The regulation arbitrage is genius. Semiconductors are barely regulated. Financial services, healthcare, transportation, heavily regulated. But chips? Almost nothing. NVIDIA operates in a regulatory vacuum while controlling regulated industries. They power the AI making medical decisions but face no medical liability. They power the AI making financial decisions but face no financial oversight. They're the unregulated infrastructure of regulated industries. All the power, none of the responsibility. The geopolitical leverage is unprecedented. Taiwan makes the chips. NVIDIA designs them. America needs them. China wants them. Europe depends on them. It's the most complex dependency web in history. If any link breaks, the global economy crashes. NVIDIA isn't just too big to fail, it's too connected to fail. They could theoretically trigger a depression by stopping shipments. No company has ever had this power. Not Standard Oil, not AT&T, not Microsoft. NVIDIA is the first truly systemic company. The patent moat is impenetrable. NVIDIA has 11,000 AI patents. They file 20 new ones daily. Every optimization, every algorithm, every architectural improvement patented. Competitors can't copy without lawsuits. They can't innovate without infringement. The patent system designed to promote innovation now prevents it. NVIDIA has patented the future of computing. Anyone who wants to participate pays NVIDIA. It's intellectual property feudalism. The next crisis is visible. AI models are hitting a wall. GPT-5 isn't much better than GPT-4. Claude 3 isn't revolutionary. The improvements are marginal. But the costs are exponential. Companies are spending billions for percentage improvements. The ROI is collapsing. but they can't stop spending because their competitors won't stop. It's a prisoner's dilemma where NVIDIA always wins. The bubble isn't in AI capabilities, it's in AI economics. And when it pops, NVIDIA will already have the cash. Jensen Huang knows all this. That's why he's selling stock. That's why NVIDIA is diversifying into robotics, automobiles, biology. They're using AI profits to buy the next monopoly. By the time the AI economics collapse, NVIDIA will control something else essential. It's the same playbook. Find a critical technology, monopolize it, extract maximum value, move on. They did it with gaming. They're doing it with AI. They'll do it with whatever comes next. The resistance is forming, but it's too late. Open source models, alternative chips, specialized architectures, everyone's trying to break NVIDIA's grip. But NVIDIA has a decade head start, unlimited money, all the talent, and most importantly, the installed base. Switching from NVIDIA is like switching from Windows in 1995. Theoretically possible, practically suicidal. The network effects are too strong. The lock-in is too deep. The monopoly is complete. The ultimate question is sustainability. Can one company be worth more than China's GDP? Can one CEO control the entire world's computing infrastructure? Can one architecture determine humanity's technological future? We're about to find out. NVIDIA isn't just a company anymore. It's an experiment in the limits of capitalism. How much power can one corporation accumulate? How essential can one technology become? How dependent can humanity get on one single point of failure? This is the NVIDIA money machine. Not just chips and software, but the entire future of computing. Concentrated in one company, controlled by one man, manufactured in one country, vulnerable to one war. It's the greatest wealth creation in history built on the most fragile foundation possible. When it works, it generates trillions. When it fails, it takes civilization with it. And we're all betting it keeps working, because the alternative is too terrible to contemplate. The $3.5 trillion valuation isn't the peak, it's the beginning. NVIDIA is becoming something beyond a corporation. It's becoming infrastructure, essential and eternal. The question isn't whether to invest in NVIDIA. The question is whether you can afford not to. Because in a world where every company needs AI and every AI needs NVIDIA, betting against them is betting against the entire economy. And that's exactly how monopolies want you to think.